I think what you could do, you took the exam already. You are coming to the conferences. I think what you can do is you can do the ALF signature course if you want to learn to go deep into what the ALF business is. Of course, I have a lot of content on YouTube. So if you wanted to see if my teaching style is your style, you can watch some of videos on YouTube. I practically do the same thing. So the course is pretty much me speaking with PowerPoint presentation, and it has a workbook and it has check sheets, and it also have access to the Thriving Circle community. And if I were you, what I would do from this very beginning phases is to come up with a plan. This plan would include, for example, what your budget is and the number of beds you want to have. So you will need to have a building, whether you are looking to have the business yourself or to joint venture. I have a client that actually found me, I think online. And then I have another client who was already in my community. And the client who found me online is a travel nurse. Him and his wife have a travel assignment. And what they ended up doing was, instead of waiting 3 years to start the business, because in 3 years the business is even better than what it is now, because the baby boomers are even older and they need the help. So what they decided to do, they decided to joint venture. And so the nurse who is here partner up with him who is on a travel assignment. He has the building, she doesn't, and they joint venture. So I've already started their process where now he's structuring a business and they are partnering. So they're splitting the expenses. By the time he comes down here, he already have a business structure because he's not living here. He's living in another state. He partner up with someone who lives here. So figure out how you want to start. For example, if you haven't gotten the building yet, if perhaps splitting the fees, the initial investment to get started is like a roadblock, partner up with somebody. You know what I mean? Where you're splitting the expenses, you're figuring out who's gonna do what, right? In his case, he's giving up the building and then they're splitting the expenses for the installations. Right? And then they're splitting the profit 50-50. So for you, your biggest hurdles will be that initial investment, because now you have to buy a building, right? You can rent. Yes. So if you rent, it will go something like this, right? It would be, if you choose to go the rental route where you're renting a building from a landlord to start your ALF, you want to have a long-term lease. For example, you can have a 10, 15, 20-year lease. Usually you work something out with the landlord because you have to establish whether or not they are going to help you with the initial investment. And if they do help you with the initial investment, perhaps they'll charge you more for the rental fee. Yeah, because you do need money to convert the building into an assisted living. So let's say I'm the landlord, you came to me and you said, can I rent your building for me to do an assisted living business in it? And I say, okay, yeah. And then you say, by the way, I'm also going to need a long-term lease for this to work, 10 years plus. Right? So then you negotiate the fees, whatever the fees will be. First, I'll have to agree that you're renting this building, not for you to live in it, but for you to convert it into a care type of business. Right? Okay. So then once I say yes, okay, I'm okay with you renting the space, you doing an assisted living business in it. Now you have to figure out how you're going to come up with the money for the installations, for the generator system, for the fire alarm system, right? And then for your reserve gas and also your proof of ability to operate money. Okay. So those are what I call the initial investment. These are what you need to be able to convert the home into a care type of business. And these are the minimums. homes, right? Because you're required to have a generator in Florida. You're required to have reserve fuel, at least 96 hours of fuel time. You're required, and usually like 250 gallons of gas will give you a good amount. And all of that is expensive to begin with. And then you're required to have a sprinkler system, our alarm system. These are the major expenses that you will come across. It's just wherever you go, even if you're renting, you still need to find out, for example, if the home is zoned. You just need to go and implement at this point. So if you feel you're at that phase, then that's what it is. So I would say start working with a realtor. So I provide different types of mentorships. For example, I'm a mentor on YouTube, right? So I'm giving value to the people who don't have direct access to me. And then the other way that I do mentorship is through my Thriving Circle community. And the other one is what we're doing right here, one-on-one. So you would go on my website, you book the link, and then we come, we talk. And those are the ways that I provide mentorship. The other way I provide mentorship is like when you find your building and then you hired me for your one-on-one licensing roadmap for me to help you get your ALF license. That's another way that I provide one-on-one mentorship. So we would take over, for example, we have a client that is in the middle of closing, but we've already started her ALF licensing process because she hired us before she even started her process. So while she was looking for a house, she hired the licensing roadmap, and then she was able to use our help with, what this home looked like and check the zoning for me, all of those things. And so we work with her realtor to make sure that the home was zoned, and she already have her zoning approval before closing. Closing is like in like a week and a half. And by the time she closes, she's already like halfway there. She already know who she's going to use. She already know exactly what she has to do. We've already been working on her file. So clearly she's going to get licensed a lot quicker than most because she started before she was ready. So those are the packages that we have. Yes. So from the time that she found the building, right? From the time you found the building. So you hired us before you found the building, but the time frame began after you've actually found the building. So let's say she closes next week, her 5 to 6 months, because that's how long the process takes for me to be able to get her license to where I'm putting this packet together and I'm mailing it to ACA. I'm a real estate investor. So outside of ALF, what really led me to retire early was real estate. Then once I retired early, then I had the time, and now I'm figuring out what am I going to do to enjoy life, to have time flexibility. I'm working from my home office right now. I was looking for something that could actually give me what I really crave: time flexibility, being able to pick up and go as I please. And once real estate helped me achieve that, real estate also helped me get that because I converted one of my own buildings into the ALF. I didn't even get into ALF until I was actually retired. I got my ALF license after I left the sheriff's office. Well, I didn't. My husband noticed that I love seniors, and he knows my grandmother raised me, and he told me that I would like it. And so I tried it. I thought, that's something that I would like. I tried it, and I realized that, of course, I was creating myself another job. But I said, if I succeed at this, I am going to turn around and teach it. And that's how I'm going to gain my flexibility. And so it was my own money. So I didn't know how it was going to be. I didn't even have a plan. I just heard it's my own building. It's my own money. And I legitimately need to find a knowledge that I can teach. And so it was like a university to me. If I do well at this, if I see that it works, then I'm going to teach it. And that was my approach from day one.
Nice.
I did well. It made great money. To get residents, you would have to get licensed first. Now, while you're getting licensed, you can network, because you get to meet placement agents. You get to meet people like me and others who are doing great things in the industry, and then they help you out. So to get patients is online footprint. You have to be very well present online. You have to network with the right type of people, and you have to follow up with them, because oftentimes they don't remember you. And then once people come to you, treat them right, which I have no doubt that you will do that. Bye now.